Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Tap. It is so good to be back. I am Ron Luce, joined by the one and only Mr. Tyler Edmonds on this Sunday night. Tyler, this feels crazy, man.
Say it. Tell me about it.
Since early May, the first series win for the Chicago Cubs. They finally did it. It happened. They took 2 out of 3 from the San Francisco Giants. If you tuned in with us on a special Friday edition episode, because Tyler, I don't know if a lot of people knew this. I don't know how bad, if it was bad at all for you, but Thursday was a little bit of a war zone in the Chicagoland area. I was without power. I know Nick was also without power.
Tommy was without a vehicle.
Yeah, so it was a rough week. So the Thursday show gets moved to Friday, but Nick and Joey put out a great show before that first game and what they wanted to see happen, and good things happened. Tyler, we got to see a series victory. Feels nice to jump on these airwaves and talk about something good for once.
It feels nice, like you said. They broke another curse. They broke another curse. It feels nice to be on here. My blood pressure, my heart rate, my pulse, all that. I feel so much better on here when we're talking a series win, and we finally get to do that. And it's great to see it. It is.
It is really great to see it, and it feels so long overdue, and I'm super happy that we get to talk about it here. Our good friend Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hello, happy Sunday. It is a happy Sunday because of the Cubs winning 2 out of 3. Tyler, Sunday was a little bit of a stinker. We'll save that game toward the end, and we'll touch on it briefly. But I want to focus obviously on Friday and Saturday, the 2 wins of this series. Of course, the win on Saturday made it 3 in a row because they did take that last game at Coors Field against the Colorado Rockies, who we will talk about again later in this show because that's the next series on the docket for the Chicago Cubs as they leave San Francisco. But Tyler, the starting pitching cannot be understated from Javier Assad and Ben Brown. Javier Assad was brilliant on Friday night, 6 innings. I believe he only gave up about 3 to 5 hits, a walk. I believe he K'd 6. Absolutely spectacular stuff from Javier Assad. And then, of course, Ben Brown allowed a lot of base runners, 7 hits. He did allow some runs or some guys on base via the walk as well, but continues to be spectacular. Tyler, Ben Brown is a 1.74 ERA on the season.
Are we dreaming right now? Because
we might.
I'm telling you, hey, I'll say it again. I'm sorry, Benjamin Brown, for doubting you. I'm so sorry. I wish I would have said that to your fun little fact. I saw Ben Brown in Pittsburgh after the first game I'd gone to, walked across the bridge. We looked at he was on the phone, and I was like, I was like, hey, what's up? And that was it. And I feel bad because I should have looked at him and been like, you don't know me, but I am so sorry that I doubted you. So Ben, if you're listening to this, I am so sorry that I ever doubted you this offseason, because Ron, he's arguably the MVP 1 or 1A or 1B, whatever you want to call it, of this team right now. If you wanted to name an MVP of this team, obviously we can name some other guys, one other guy in particular, but yeah, I mean, exactly it's gotten to a point with Ben Brown that this is what we expect. This is what we expect every single time, and it's great to see. And it's crazy to think that just earlier this season we all were like, man, he's really capitalizing his role in the bullpen, that late inning role. Like during that first little bad stretch we were having, it was like, well, at least on the positive side, Ben Brown figured out his role. And he was like, well, correction. Let me correct you there real quick. I'm actually a starting pitcher, and he's shown that. Javier Assad, same thing, at least in his last 2 starts. It's crazy to think that Javier Assad was just as good in this game on Friday against the Giants as he was his previous outing, which, by the way, was against the Giants as well. Mm-hmm. But it's something, especially with Assad, because I know we've gotten to the point where we expect this from Ben Brown. These types of performances from Javier Assad is something that we have to have right now in order to sit here and talk about series wins like we are right now.
Amen to that, Tyler. And I'll tell you what, I'm sorry, Ben Brown needs to be on a t-shirt. And this is a good time to point out our good friends over at Obvious Shirts as well. You see the little QR code up in the corner over there above Tyler's head. Go ahead and scan that. It'll take you right to the Obvious Sports web or Obvious Shirts website. Or of course, you can just go there yourself. And when you go to checkout, On Tap Sports is your code that you want to use for 10% off. From our good friends over at Obvious Shirts. So shout out to Joe. Shout out to Obvious Shirts. And Tyler, there is a lot of apology that needs to happen to Ben Brown here, at least even on my part. I was a Ben Brown naysayer for a long time, and you're 100% right. We were all happy that in the beginning of the season, it was, okay, he found a role. He looks comfortable in that role. Ben Brown looks like the pitcher that fans hoped he would become when he was originally acquired as a prospect from the Phillies. But now it's an even step further. Now, all of a sudden, there's faith in the future of this starting rotation for the Chicago Cubs because of names like Javier Assad, because of names like Ben Brown. Justin Steele and Cade Horton are eventually going to come back. That's a pretty good arsenal of arms to have as your future for this ball club, because there will be probably no Jameson Taillon after this, or Shota Imanaga, or Matthew Boyd, because they're all potentially expiring contracts. I say potentially because Boyd has an option. I believe it's a mutual option, but yeah, it's huge for the Cubbies right now with how Ben Brown and Javier Assad have pitched. And especially Ben Brown, because he truly looks like the starter that everybody, I think, really hoped he would become. And again, even when this team's been shit right now recently in this terrible stretch, it's so freaking nice to see him do well, and then that translate now here to a big series win. And yes, against the San Francisco Giants, but this is a win they desperately needed.
For sure. And even in just back to Ben Brown real quick, even in the games that he was involved in that resulted in a loss, like, he hasn't really had a bad outing, a bad start anyways, since he's been in that starter role. I mean, you could easily say he's also the all-star pick for this team right now. Him, and you could say probably PCA, which he's super hot right now. I know we'll talk about him as well, but he's easily about to make his very first all-star team of his career. And talk about having it at a good time, like you said, Ron, when we're about to hit an off season where, yeah, we're probably not bringing back Taillon. We're probably not bringing back Imanaga and all those other guys. So it's great. It's very encouraging to see, for sure.
Absolutely. And Tyler, let's transition this, because I do want to asterisk here really quick. I think the relief pitching overall was pretty good in this series as well. Mm-hmm. Saw a lot of good things out of Trent Thornton, 2 huge innings of relief on Friday night to ultimately shut things down and get that win. Hobie Milner had a couple of good appearances in this series as well. Just again, Phil Maton.
Yeah, exactly. He's
having
a guy
the outing that he had.
I feel like he's at a point with Phil that, I mean, is every outing basically he's on the chopping block, because he's had some really rough ones, and so it's nice to see him finally have a better outing than his previous ones, for sure.
Most definitely. It was critically important. But Tyler, as we noted here about a certain player, you talked about it, how Ben Brown could probably be the co-MVP of this team. PCA has been that dude. Has absolutely been that dude. Incredible stuff. A 3-for-5 game with a homer and a double in this outing as well. PCA is, Tyler, dare I say, finally starting to become the superstar that we all fully expected he would be. And he is now really settled in and kind of taking the bull by the horns here for this Cubs team. It has really been the catalyst for any kind of offense recently, especially given the struggles from players like Alex Bregman and Dansby Swanson at the plate. PCA continues to shine as a huge bright spot for this Cubs team right now, and had a great series again here in San Francisco.
Oh, for sure. He's the one guy. And the nice thing too, Ron, is it's coming from the leadoff spot, a spot that originally we all were saying, hey, Nico Horner. And his last month has just been, he's been basically silent. And so, yeah, it's great to see, especially when PCA started the season off. He had a lot of really bad ABs starting off, a lot of ABs where he was swinging at stuff that just wasn't even close to the zone. It was like, God, and you could tell it was frustrating. But I mean, Ron, I've got it for you right here. His last 16 games. Do you want to know what his slash line is?
Please.
371. 421 and 743, the number 1.164. OPS was 6 bombs, a triple, 6 doubles, 10 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. I think today, what was today? Like his 16th? Was it today or yesterday? I believe it was today. He got his 16th stolen base. Easily going to get 30 stolen, 40, hopefully 40 stolen bases this year. But a guy that at the beginning of the season, yeah, is he having the first half that he did last year? No, but it is encouraging to see after his second half of last year for him to make those adjustments now, especially at a time that they desperately need this if they want to be a playoff team at all, to sniff it at all. They need this guy, the guy that they gave a contract to this offseason, to say, hey, look, I know you're young, but you got to step up for us. And he's done that. He's done that at least in the last 2 weeks so far. I think, what was it, last week? Was he the NL Player of the Week?
Yeah,
I believe that was last week. So I mean, like, it's just,
yeah. He wins NL Player of the Week when the Cubs go 2-4.
Yeah, it's how baseball, am I right? But yeah, it's something that this team has to have, like you said, Ron, with an Alex Bregman who, yeah, normally you would look at Alex Bregman and say, hey, you're supposed to be the guy. Obviously, he hasn't been that so far. Nico Horner hasn't been Nico Horner for the last month. Dansby Swanson he finally got a hit today. But so with so many guys in this lineup that have just struggled so far, at least you've got that bright spot at the top of the lineup in PCA.
1,000%. And Tyler, I think the most critical point that you brought up, right, is that yes, maybe it's not the same level of first half that PCA had last year, but to be able to make those corrections, that shows growth as a big leaguer.
And I mean, that first half, let's be real, Ron, that first half last year was just
insane,
out of this insanity. Yeah. Like, yes.
It was incredible. And I think I'm almost more encouraged, Tyler, by what he's done now because of exactly what you said, right? He went through the adversity. Teams adjusted to him. Now, how do you readjust to the league adjusting to you? And he's done that. I think he's done it brilliantly. You know, I think he's just also been more steady than historically. I think the at-bats are better. I think, you know, he's still always going to have a little bit of that sporadic nature as a player. That's just kind of how he is. But the separation in the chaos from the really good to the really bad, I think has largely shrunk. And it's a lot more consistent. And he's having the big moments, and sometimes he has the bad moments, but they're not as catastrophic when they're bad, and they're not as like, oh my God, he's never going to be able to do that again when they're good. They're starting to kind of, water finds its middle, and that's exactly what he is starting to do.
For sure.
He's been incredible. He's been absolutely incredible. And Tyler, I want to bring this comment to light here from months behind. It says, why is Ballesteros still up with the team? More at-bats, learning catching in the minors might be better since he is not hitting. I tweeted on Saturday night that it's going to take everyone on this Cubs team if they're going to win, right? We saw Ramirez's first career home run in that game. We saw his hap from the right side. I love a good hap from the right side home run. They're going to need these young guys. I think the reason that we haven't seen Ballesteros go back to the minors and why Ramirez is still hanging around on the roster, they're going to need these guys to win. Simply,
who are you replacing them with right now, anyways, Ron? I get it. Mo Baller, he's had a lot of it. But it seems like he gets caught on that high fastball all the time. But if not Mo Baller, who? Because you can argue what the heck's Dansby Swanson still doing in the lineup, you know? And it's like if not those guys, then who? So yeah, I know we've said here and said in the past, hey, this is one of those seasons where this can't be a project. These guys can't be project pieces at all. We can't give them time, quote unquote, to figure things out. And At the same time, though, you got to have these guys because when they're on, they can really change the dynamic of a ball game. And yeah, they're young, and yeah, it's gonna. I hate to say it, yeah, it may take a little bit of time to figure it out, but at the same time, you've already got guys. Bregman, what you just going to bench Bregman for a week? I mean, a lot of people are probably saying, yeah, but that's not going to happen when you're paying that guy that much to be in that lineup. So, I mean, yeah, you could argue Mo Baller. I was arguing that 2 weeks ago when I was with my buddies in Pittsburgh, watching him at bat, watching him take ABs, just like, yeah, he's going high fastball right here, and he's going to swing and miss. But it's like, if not Mo Baller right now, then who replaces him right now? You going Kevin Alcantara? No, because he's back down in the minors right now. You've got I mean, there's not really many options right now.
Yeah. They're the Cubs have hit a part of the cycle for their farm right now, Tyler, that I think every team goes through. We've seen the Cubs go through this historically. We've seen every team do it. It's where you build up all the young talent graduates to the majors, and then you just have that little bit of close to major league ready talent that's still there. That's right now hanging onto the roster. We just mentioned the names, Ramirez, Ballesteros, like those guys are that group. Then you have Alcantara, who has clearly shown like, okay, maybe he still needs some growth. The power's certainly there. He's not really a prospect anymore. He's just more depth at this point.
Could you call him a 4A player?
Kind of, yeah. That's exactly what he's kind of becoming, is a 4A guy right now. And then it's a big drop-off.
Yeah.
Most of the notable talent now in the Cubs system is more in that AA and high A ball level. And that's the part of that evolution. You don't have as many complete like MLB ready guys at the top of your pipeline because all the guys that were there are up with your team now. So to your point, there isn't really a whole lot to replace him right now. And yeah, could you make the argument that the everyday stuff would help him and things like that? Absolutely. But like, this team's in a win now mode, man. If they weren't in a win now mode, I 100% think Moises Ballesteros is back down in the minors.
Oh yeah.
Or he's just playing every day and going through the growing pains at the major league level. Right now, they 100% just need that to come through, and they just need the depth. And that's really what it is at this point. Tyler, I don't know about you. Sunday was the Logan Webb showing why Logan Webb is still Logan Webb show.
Yeah.
I mean, he completely just shut down the Cubs, avoided a sweep for the Giants, which is huge. Obviously, they're not a very good team this year and for them, but Tyler, dare you say that Logan Webb was auditioning to Jed Hoyer, that he should go out and try to acquire him?
That's how I looked at it. And I would hate to keep bringing this up to San Francisco fans, but maybe he still hates being in San Francisco, and that's why he pitched so well. Was because maybe he knew Jed was watching and was like, "Hey, look at me! Don't you want me, baby?" But hey, they did. I tell you this. And I know Joey and Nick talked about it on Friday. They said, hey, win the first two games because you got Logan Webb in game 3. And Logan Webb showed why he's Logan Webb and why he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball for the last several seasons. He showed that. I believe this was his first start. He was kind of on he had been on a pitch limit in his past few starts because he was dealing with an injury. I believe it may have been a month ago. But I mean, today he looked completely fine, completely healthy. 8 strong innings. Man, you hated to see. I mean, yeah, it was an impressive catch by Jung Ho Lee in the 8th inning, but had that ball got thrown, had he not caught that ball right there in the corner, who knows what would have happened. And it sucks. Yeah, a couple of the runs that Colin Ray gave up was some of that bullcrap no man's land. Just, I mean, you this much on the line and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks, but at the same time, you give Logan Webb 2 runs to work with, and you see what we got there. But wasn't surprised. It just, at the same time though, I get it. Asking a team to sweep is a lot, but at the same time, if you want to consider yourself, if you want to say, hey, we're one of the top dogs in the league, you've got to beat pitchers like a Logan Webb. You do.
Sure.
And they've done that this season so far. They beat Chris Sale earlier this season. And so they've done it before. It's just, it's something that And I get it; those guys don't lose a lot,
Right.
but the really, really, really good teams know how to capitalize on tough pitchers like that. But like you said, Ron, maybe this was a positive because maybe Jed Hoyer's watching this afternoon and was just like, I gotta have him.
Gotta
I love
have him.
him.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. Again, just continuing to show why I think he's also it's unfortunately true that unless you are Shohei Ohtani and you play for the Dodgers, most of the guys, the true stars on the West Coast, sometimes get forgotten about a little bit.
Oh, they do for sure. Oh yeah.
Just because of how the West Coast operates and the time difference and everything for us. I'll tell you what, man. It was he's so good. Like today was
He
a
is.
special outing for Logan Webb. 8 innings.
He quietly puts up
crazy.
200 plus innings every season.
Yeah. Every year. Every single year he does this. And again, he's one of the few pitchers that properly gives 200 innings a year now. Right?
He's one of the last few guys. I got you right here, Ron. Last season, 207, 24, 204, 2023, 216. The season before that, he only pitched in, it was one less game, but 192. But I mean, yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah. He's like that, man. He is absolutely like that. Tyler, I wanted to turn it back over to you because it was nice to see this team win a series. Is there anything else that stood out in this series that you want to touch on before we look at
it was nice to see Michael Busch hit a home run off of a lefty. That was really encouraging. He seems like he's really hopefully he's turning the corner and starting to heat up a little bit because he's another guy that we had high expectations for. I don't know if this is like, I guess you say it was nice, whatever you want to call it, but I know we were a little nervous after last night with Seiya Suzuki.
Yes.
It was encouraging to see him originally in the lineup. I know he got taken out for cautionary reasons, but it was nice to see him in the lineup today before we got the news. And so that's at least a little encouraging to know that, hey, maybe this is nothing major. I know didn't he have a knee issue like in spring training, or wasn't it the World Baseball Classic or something? Or
yeah, he got I think he
sliding into second or something.
He bruised his knee in the World Baseball Classic. So
hopefully that's something minor because I get it. I know even though he had 2 doubles the other night, he is somebody again, obviously that we have high expectations for in this lineup. The one thing about this series win is okay. Yeah. You look at the beginning of June and you look at that schedule and you're like, okay, we've got San Fran, Colorado. It should be an easy 4 straight series wins. Yeah, the first 2 didn't go down the way we wanted it to. We win this series. Look, and I know we're going to talk about what's coming up, but this could be a great moment for this team to use this series win as a launching pad for the rest of this month, because we know who we got lurking at the end of this month at Milwaukee. And it's like you said, Ron, I think maybe it may have been the last show that me and you were on together. June is that month. The month of June is the month that we figure out, hey, what are we doing in July? Are we buying or are we selling? And that's obviously the question that we've all been talking about now for the last month because of what's been going on. So this series win, it could just be an amazing opportunity for this team to convince Jed, to convince everybody, hey, yeah, I know we're not that 20 out of 24 wins right now that we were in the past, but we are still a good ball club. Let's prove this to our owner. Let's prove this to Jed and say, hey, if you could just give us a little bit more help, we're here. We are, we're a good team. So yeah, I'm just hoping that this series win can spark another series win against a team that should easily be a series win in Colorado.
Definitely. And a team that gave the Cubs a lot of fits right last time. And
oh yeah,
obviously that's it. Coors, you're hoping with the balance of playing at Wrigley that things might even out a little bit. And Tyler, you say it perfectly. I mean, some good baseball teams that they will see in the month of June, but a month of June that they certainly should try to take advantage of, or at least for the rest of it. Obviously, the start of June was not great with that athletic series, and then of course that first San Francisco series and the first Colorado series, but making up for lost time with the San Francisco series win. Obviously, Colorado, we'll talk about them here in a minute, but then you got Toronto, you got the New York Mets for 4 games who have been abysmal this season. Of course, that huge series against Milwaukee in Milwaukee is going to be a big one. And then you close out the month of June against the Padres, and then you have the Cardinals coming to town pretty much on the 4th of July. So, and then you've got 2 series before the All-Star break, and it's Baltimore and Cincinnati, and those are absolutely winnable series for the Cubs. So you really are looking at it right now where it's, hey, go into All-Star break showing Jed that it's worth it. So that way he's got 2 weeks coming out of that All-Star break to make this roster better, to try to truly take things to the next level and get into the postseason. Tyler, Jay is on the same page here. You need to sweep the Rockies this time. It'd be nice. I think you at least need a series win. And a little bit earlier, Jay chimed in saying, hopefully the Rockies used up all their runs today. I don't know if anybody saw the final score. The 23-9, I believe, was the final score today.
Was that that was in Vegas, right?
It was in Vegas. Yes.
Golly, that's crazy.
Tyler, can we talk about that really quick, and then we'll use that as our launch pad
let's talk about
into Colorado.
I love how you just said there that I don't even know if you realize that you said, can we use that as our launching pad going to Colorado? That's great.
The Vegas thing is fascinating because we know what Coors Field is, right? And it was always kind of the unicorn in baseball because of the elevation. Well, Vegas is now the only other city that even comes remotely close to that. It's still, I believe it's like 1,800 feet or a 1,200 foot difference still between Colorado and Vegas, but still substantially more elevation in Vegas than, again, majority of Major League Baseball. The Athletics just getting this little spurt in Vegas as like a test run was some of the most hilariously entertaining baseball that has existed. Now, granted, I would expect them to, whatever ballpark they would build in Vegas would probably be a little bit like Coors in the sense of, hey, it's not going to be a total free for all, but we're going to, make sure that it's going to play to the conditions. That ballpark they were playing in did not play to the conditions. I mean, every game was like something out of an old, MLB The Show or 2K baseball game.
The first game they had, what was it? They hosted Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, you had
like 9.
William Contreras, basically his butt was on home plate and hit a bomb to dead center, just sitting on home plate. Yeah, man, it just makes you wonder if there's so many pitchers right now that are watching that just like, nope, I'm not picking up the phone when they call. But hopefully it's something that, I mean, I know Arizona has the humidor in their park. I don't know how much. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, they're going to be indoors. And I've also heard that doesn't make a difference in certain situations, especially like in Vegas, where you could play, you can have an indoor park, but that's still, the elevation is still there.
Right. Yeah. The elevation still exists.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that, which I don't know what kind of effect. I know there's some type of effect with humidors and baseballs in the stadiums and stuff like that. But it was, I mean, yeah, those kind of games. Okay, this 23-9 game today. Yeah, that's cool to see every now and then. But
all the time.
Could you imagine all the games, Ron? Every Cubs game we watch being a 23-14 slugfest, just
it'd be crazy.
There would be a documentary on the amount of Cubs fans that had heart attacks in the first 3 months of the season. Yeah, it would be crazy.
It'd be insane. I'll tell you what. I think the purpose of the humidity, because you got to think about it this way. The higher, obviously, your elevation is, the thinner the air becomes. So the ball goes farther because there's less air resistance on the baseball. The humidity creates heavier air, quote unquote. and creates a little bit more of that resistance, right? So if Vegas wanted to go that direction and say, okay, we're going to put a humidor in the ballpark, it'll even out the playing, that would help even it out. But then even then, it probably wouldn't make a huge difference, but it would keep it from being these 23 to 14 games all the time. But even then, right, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're indoors or outdoors. The elevation still exists, and that's still going to play a factor into how the baseball carries and things like that. So, again, I just thought the little stint for the A's in Vegas
was wild, yeah,
was hilarious. It was great for my fantasy baseball team because I have both Nick Kurtz and Shea Lingliers. So it was a phenomenal stretch for me.
Speaking of her of Kurtz, he's probably looking at that like, sign me up. I'm breaking home run records throughout my career. I'm going to break my own home run record the next year, So there's that at least. But yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Ron, I'm sure you were loving it this week.
It was great. It was great. It was a good week for Ron Luce's fantasy baseball team. But I digress. We're not here to talk fantasy baseball. We're here to talk about Chicago Cubs baseball. And Tyler, it's a 3-game series coming up this week with the Colorado Rockies. As we mentioned, they are back at Wrigley Field. So, in fact, they're probably still in the air right now on their way back from San Francisco. They'll probably land a little bit later tonight. It's a 7:05 start on Monday. This will be Shota Imanaga versus Michael Lorenzen in his 7.54 ERA. And then on Tuesday, it's another 7:05 start. This time it'll be Feltner against Edward Cabrera. And finally on Wednesday, another 7:05 start. It's the ass man, Javier Assad, taking on the lefty Sullivan for the Rockies. And then it's a big off day on Thursday for the Cubbies. And they get to stay home because then the Blue Jays will be in town over the weekend. So our next show will come on the off day. And then, Tyler, you'll actually be in Chicago this weekend for this series.
I will be there in the flesh on Saturday. I don't know where I'm sitting yet, but yes, Ron, I will be there.
Hell yeah. And it's so ironic because you're coming to Chicago and I'm leaving Chicago later this week.
Yeah.
I will be on the East Coast. I'll be up in Boston. Very excited. I'll be able to get out to Fenway for the first time. So I'm super jacked about that. That'll be cool. I'll actually be at the Red Sox game on the Cubs off day on Thursday. So a perfect way to fit in some more baseball, even when the Cubbies are not playing. Tyler, what the hell do the Cubs need to do in these 3 games against the Rockies to at least win another series?
Well, Ron, I believe, at least for Monday, I think you said it when you announced the pitchers. Michael Lorenzen in that 7+ ERA, I believe these hitters need to wake up and take advantage of that. I mean, it's got to, because let's be real. I think we know what we have in Shota. Is he going to give up the home runs? Yes, he is. With that being said, this offense needs to show up a lot more than they did the last time in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can't go into this game on Monday like we did the last time we faced Michael Lorenzen and make him look like a Cy Young starter for his first 5 innings. You've got to capitalize. You've got to take advantage of it early. It starts with PCA. Let's hope Bregman, which Bregman this last series, he had some good ABs in his 3 games. Let's hope he can finally, come out of the funk that he's in.
Yeah.
But you've got to crush the baseball in this series. You have to. Eddie Cabrera, we wanted him to be something that maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but we need to see a good outing from, and at least an encouraging outing from him, especially when, like we've said earlier, you've got a Ben Brown, you've got an Assad, you've got a Cade Horton coming back, you've got a Justin Steele. Can Eddie C be that another guy for this team, for this rotation, especially not just this season, but in the future? But let's just, I really want to see a solid outing from Edward Cabrera.
1,000%. I like what you had to say as well about with Bregman. I don't know if you caught it. Did you see the clip from MLB Tonight when they were watching the games and it was Harold Davis and company talking? They were actively talking about Bregman in his at bat and how he has kind of changed his
swing path.
Yeah, and it seems to be paying dividends. So again, that is the beauty of these professionals, right? Like these guys know how to make adjustments and they figure
Yeah.
shit out. And
And
hopefully that's good.
it goes to show too just how hard. And I'm not
Oh,
sitting here trying, oh, you're just taking up for me. It just goes to show just how hard it is to do that. I mean, from a guy that
Harold Reynolds, yes. Thank you.
if you don't follow Bregman, this guy is a hitting guru. I mean, he is the JD Martinez, if you will, as far as when it comes to dissecting his swing. And you can say, oh, well, he does all this and stuff. It just goes to show just how hard it is to do. And I get it. I'm one that'll sit here and say, oh, come on, Bregman, come on. But like, it's good to see that those adjustments are finally paying off.
Yeah, and Harold Reynolds is the name. I said Harold Davis. I had a college teammate named Harold Davis, so that was what came to
shout out, Mr. Davis.
But Harold Reynolds, yes, was talking about it. Yeah, you're 100% right. Like Bregman's a pro. They're going to need him to come around and start to be anything close to what he can be in order for this Cubs team to be any good. So that's going to be a big key here as well in this series. And I agree with you, Tyler. They just got to slug the baseball. You're going to get Javier Assad in this series. Hopefully he puts out another good start again. And then one of those other two games from either Shota or from Cabrera, they get enough out of the starting pitching. Again, the bullpen's been really good. Rolliston's been incredible. Roberts has been incredible. A lot of these guys have sub-3 ERAs in just how good they've been. Even Milner is a sub-4 ERA right now after some early, some early struggles. Just get a good start, give it over to the bullpen, and hopefully the bats come to life. And again, you're at Wrigley. The weather looks spectacular this week as well. It's
going to be a great week.
70. It's going to average about 75 degrees. According to the wind forecast, it looks like at least for 2 of the 3 games, the wind will be blowing out. Tuesday's game, it looks like it might be a little bit more of a crosswind, but there's no excuse to why they can't play some good baseball and hopefully get some things done and take care of business against the Rockies, because they're surely going to need it. And I hope whoever it is from our great group here at Cubs on Tap on the microphone on Thursday gets to talk about another series win, Tyler, because it's just more fun to talk about those series wins than series losses.
It is a lot more fun. It really is. And it gets old saying, ranting about this. It's sad. It just gets old ranting about the same thing. But I fall victim to it because it's what we've been doing for the last month. But this is just so much better, Ron. So much better.
So much better indeed. Tyler, I have one final thought that I want to share. It's completely Cubs related. Okay. Especially because I want to hear a little bit from you as well. How about the hot streak that Josiah Hartshorn has been on at high A? Have you seen this and what's going on with him? So Hartshorn was, I believe, a 6th or 7th round draft pick in the last 2 years. I distinctly remember writing up his draft profile. There's a big hitter with a ton of upside, and they liked him a lot, and he has been nothing short of spectacular. He has 18 high A games, 27 high A RBIs right now. And it feels like every other day there's a highlight of him hitting home run, to the point where I can't even tell if they're from the same day or not, because it's just one after another. Mm-hmm. Just another player that you're hoping continues to rise quickly through the ranks for this Cubs team, because they certainly need
it. Ron, you could say that they need it in more way than one, because you could look at it as, okay, he's a guy that you could he's a guy that, hey, maybe Mo Baller or somebody else doesn't figure it out, and they're finally like, hey, we're gonna send you down, and maybe we need a spark, or we have a pretty good rest of June. We have a solid half of July heading into the All-Star break. Hey, this guy's crushing the baseball right now, and I tell you what, he could possibly be a good trade piece as well. So. Yeah, in more ways than one, that is a really, really good thing to have at this current moment. Yeah,
absolutely. And I actually was able to find the little blurb on Josiah Hartshorn. So he was a 2025 draft pick, high school bat. He was a 6th round pick, pick number 181, outfielder from Orange Lutheran High School in California. And this is what I wrote up on him, Tyler, from this past summer. Or from last summer, pardon me. Taking another big swing on the draft's second day, the Cubs selected Orange Lutheran High School outfielder Josiah Hartshorn with their 6th-round pick. Hartshorn is the 108th ranked prospect per MLB Pipeline and was committed to play collegiate ball at Texas A&M. Obviously, the Cubs signed him away from his collegiate commitment. Given the drop in the draft, it was safe to assume that overslot value would have been required. Obviously, teams will fear guys that have college commitments in case they don't sign. But he had an impressive season at the plate in 2025. Slashed 364, 468, 636, 5 homers, 9 doubles, and 24 ribbies in just 29 high school games. He is a switch hitter, but hit almost exclusively righty for most of his high school career because he had some elbow injuries that affected his left-handed swing. So it seems like he's pretty much just exclusively been swinging from the right side. And then he won the MLB high school home run derby because of his power. So he is known as a big thumper, home run guy. A guy that I'm just excited. It's been cool to see just in the last week or so now. Again, it literally feels like every other day there's a new highlight of him hitting a home run at High A South Bend right now. And he's doing some fun stuff for the South Bend Cubs. So a name to keep an eye on, certainly.
Love to see it.
In the Cubs pipeline. Tyler, I ask you, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I'm just ready to be back at the park this weekend. This will be my wife's first game this year, and she's been, I don't know how many times she's told me, I'm ready to be at a game. I'm ready to be at a game. Honestly, both of us are really excited. Just a little tidbit about Wrigley, if you've never tried it. The best pretzel you can get at a game.
That pretzel is really good.
It's down the third base line of Wrigley. It almost where like it's just the corner of the stadium right there, where like right where you're about to turn to go to the bleachers, right there. It's a pizza place. I forget what it's called. But they have the best pretzel there. You get 3 separate sauces. There's like this cinnamon cream cheese one. There's a beer mustard, and then there is there's one more. I'm blanking. No, it's a beer cheese and a mustard. Yeah.
A mustard. Yep.
I am so looking forward to that. I cannot. I'm serious. I can't freaking wait. But yeah, man. And if we see any of you guys out there, I think Tommy's going to be at the game. Hopefully, we run into each other, say hey. Maybe have a beer or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 together. But yeah, I'm just excited to finally be back at Wrigley this year.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited for you. Yeah, I last time I was at Wrigley was Memorial Day weekend, that Friday against the Astros. And I actually went down and got that pretzel, Tyler, and I thought of you when I got it. So
it'll make you cry when you
it's so good, man.
So beautiful.
So good. It's so good. So highly recommend anybody going out to the ballpark. You gotta go get those things because they are freaking fantastic. And I am excited for you to get out to Wrigley. It feels like it's been forever for me, even though it's only been like 3 weeks, but feels a lot longer than 3 weeks right now. Since I've been at the ballpark. I always look forward to getting back to Wrigley. And hopefully that'll be sooner than later. But before that, I'll get to check out another baseball cathedral in Fenway Park a little bit later.
That's going to be fun, man.
Super stoked.
It's a blast.
Super stoked. And ironically, the Toronto Blue Jays come to town to play the Cubs on Friday of this coming week. They're actually in Boston first playing, and it's a getaway day game on Thursday that we'll be attending. So it'll be cool. I'm excited. And then just to know that the Blue Jays are getting on a plane and heading back to Chicago to make sure they're in time for their series with the Cubbies at Wrigley. Awesome stuff that is coming up this week. 3 with the Rockies coming up. We're asking for a sweep. I'll just take a series win, but sweeps would be nice. It would certainly help the Cubs in the standings. They're a game out of the wild card right now and 2 games above 500. Tyler, before we get out here, as always, reminding everybody, Cubs on Tap is your official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out all of our great work over at ontapsportsnet.com and at ontapsportsnet on the socials. Head over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell button, and you'll know when all of our shows go live here on the On Tap Sports Network. Of course, you have us here at Cubs on Tap. You have our friends on the other side of town covering baseball over at Sox on Tap. And then we got everything in between: Bears on Tap, the Four Feathers podcast, Bulls on Tap, etc. And a lot of busy summers coming up, even from the teams that aren't playing. So be sure to know when all of those shows are going live. And as always, we appreciate you. OnTapSportsNet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on the socials. Go ahead, check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Tyler, always a blast, especially after a Cubs series win, to be on the mic with you. This was a giant step forward for this Cubs team. Their first series win since early May, as they took care of business with 2 of 3 in the Bay Area. They'll be returning to Wrigley for 6 games in 7 days, starting with the Colorado Rockies on Monday night. Tyler, what do you say? We got here the only way to know how it comes on tap?
FTC, if you know, you know. FTC. Let's go, Cubs.
And let's go, Cubbies.